Hey everyone, today we would like to introduce you a luxury home in Ahmedabad surrounded by dense greenery. Sitting on a plot of 20,000 square feet, geometric volumes and frames dictate the design of this home. The project's essence lies in its harmony with the natural environment, tackling through the extreme climate conditions with multiple passive design strategies. If you want to know more about this project story, click on the link mentioned in the description below. It will take you to our website buildofy.com where you can become a member and download full PDF ebook including the detailed floor plans, section elevation with dimensions and the material palette. You can download 250 plus house design plans pan-India. Our members also get to watch a full-length film where the architect walks us through the house, explaining the spaces and other important details. Till then, I hope you enjoy this video.
It's a villa project based in the city of Ahmedabad. It's in sort of a suburb, but now it's almost integral part of the city. The weather conditions are very hot and arid during the summer, and it gets very cold in the winters. So that is one thing to be kept in mind while designing the structure. The clients were basically a Gujarati family, and so a lot of principles had to be adopted while designing the house. It was basically the couple, and they had two daughters. They wanted something which was modern, and they wanted to build something which would be sort of timeless and acceptable for the next at least 40-50 years. The site is located in an area called Makarba. There's again a very big club out here called the Karnavati Club. I'm talking about the site, SG Highway, and this part of the city is really dense, the urban setting, like any other city. Off here, then we have an offshoot which takes you directly towards the site. Now, as we come here, there's a colony of bungalows out here, and a particular plot is placed right here, which is trapezoidal in shape, and the entry of the site is from the north. We place the entire villa south of the plot. The perception level of the villa becomes stronger. Secondly, it's on the south because it becomes, as per Vastu, where the weight has to be towards the south side. We had the entire structure designed as 4 blocks. This house had the center plus sign, which actually becomes your main grid to the entire development. It becomes a sort of a main transition space. During that entire spine, which runs east to west, what happens basically when you enter, you have a nice green corner on the east, as well you have focal point on the west. And at the center, what we've done, we have created the north-south axis, which actually starts becoming like mini courtyards. We gave the entire structure this sand look because there are a lot of dust storms which do happen sometimes in the city of Ahmedabad. So the entire structure has this monochromatic color, which is like mushroom grey all over the exteriors, as well as the same thing has been carried forward inside also. And what we've done is just to accentuate the entire idea of bringing the house together was introduction of these frames. You enter from the north at the entry point of the plot, and there is a nice driveway, brings it to a drop-off point. You come in from here, move into our open veranda. From here, you're going into the main entrance lobby, which has been strategically placed right here. Then moving on, that's the main axis, which was I mentioned earlier, is the east-west axis. So the movement is like as you come in from here, you see this focal point with a nice piece of green sculpture right here. And the other one was kept in the other direction, which is somewhere here. As I move in, we have a double-height formal living space. We have actually blocked off the first floor. In a way, it blocks off the glare. At the same time, within the interior, you feel the volume. That was very important. It gets a nice visual connect with the entire lawns, which is right here. This is my favorite spot in the house, which is the junction of the main grid. We introduced this courtyard which is around 2 meters in width. These nice small fountains which actually add to the soothingness to the space. At the same time, as mentioned, it is a light shaft which brings in a lot of light into the formal living on A side and the informal living on the other side. And this side, what we have done is just a continuation with dry landscape, which is here. So this becomes actually a sense of the house. This is your main informal living with a dining room here, which actually looks out into the entire garden space. Then here we have the parents' room block, which is here, and attached to that is the kitchen. Again, this was intentionally kept on the furthermost side. One is because of Vastu, and the other one was because it actually sort of creates a nice differentiation between the entry points and the service point. Yeah, and further adding to the outdoor experience, what we did was we had the gazebo kept right in the corner out here. So the advantage of that is basically you can be in the midst of the greens around, and at the same time you can enjoy the lawns as well as the facade. Some other features which are obviously very important because part of the infra were the parking zone, which is kept here right after the drop-off, and further to that we have the service zone entry, which is kept on the back side. And in this corner we actually have created a kids play area, which was again very important as the girls were barely 2 and 7. And if you look at the plan, the way it functions, everything is very linear and straight, clean. But this particular element, we intentionally made it into a sculptural staircase, which takes you from the ground to the first level. At the same time, the same staircase even goes to the basement, which is a meditation room and a bit of audio-visual, like a movie room there for entertainment. So even they were placed strategically there because obviously you don't need any sort of air and light or ventilation for a movie room. At the same time, that it brings in that subtle lushness in the entire setting. This becomes the family room for the client as well as their 2 daughters. This side is the daughter's room. Since the children were growing up, the idea was that the 2 daughters would sleep in one room. That was this one. And this was kept as a theme room, which became more like a play room, which is very interesting in concept. We have created the entire room, which has clouds and it's like a fence, and so it makes them feel as if they are in their own fantasy land. And then we even have introduced a slide for them to jump around, play around. And this was again intentionally done again because we do have an outdoor space, but looking at the weather conditions in mind, creating something indoors is also very important for the children. That's another very important feature was the gym, which was quite kept around the main core. And this is the double height which I mentioned above, which gives you a visual connect from the upper floor to the formal living at the lower level. And this entire block was the master suite. So master suite was so designed there is a visual connect from the east-west axis. But this was divided into a massive walk-in wardrobe on this side, and the toilets are here. That's the master bedroom with its personal deck. You have a strong connection with what is happening on the outside. So he really has the nice view shell which we have created for him. He can even feel the entire greenery which is of the lawns in the northeast direction. Yeah. We have actually extended this deck, and it becomes the main canopy as well as the pergola over the driveway. So it becomes like one of the main interesting feature of the house. It's not like just a sort of a facade treatment. It's something which is to do with it being contextual, bringing human scale to the entire development. It's like a second skin to the entire thing because it helps in cooling the entire structure, which is again very important in the weather conditions in Ahmedabad. And that's why we call the villa also the frames, because actually it's very two simple architectural elements, or just simple portals which define the whole space and they connect it together. It's always a teamwork. It's not like what I do or what, say, my two other business partners do, like Nimesh and Shresh, but it's a whole thing. It's like a family doing it together. That is again very important when you're building a house.